Hi everyone, I'm Jake Fridkis and I'm the principal flute player with the Fort Worth Symphony Orchestra. Today I want to talk about my 5 keys to audition success. So these are the 5 things that you can remember when you walk into the room to play your audition for your all-state etudes. So the first thing is, don't go too fast. If you can't play the etude at the exact metronome marking that it's marked, I would rather play it a little bit slower and clean than play too fast and make a mistake. Now, making a mistake is not the end of the world. We'll get to that later. But you want to avoid making as many mistakes as possible. So if you set yourself up to play too fast or faster than you know that you can even play in the practice room, then you don't have a very good chance of playing a clean performance. And if they would like you to play it again faster, they can ask you to do that, but at least they already heard you play one time through very cleanly. Number 2, you're judged on more than notes. Remember when you're playing that it's not just about playing every note correctly. You should play every note correctly, but there's also other little bits of information on each page. So in each little piece of music, you have a diminuendo, crescendo, articulation markings, accents, slurs, tranquillo, dolce, all of this kind of information that you're given. The key to a successful audition is playing all of those things as well. So yes, you play the notes, but you also have to play all the other markings. I think sometimes when we practice for an audition, we forget to practice all the little things that are in there because we're so focused on just the notes. But to me, your technique also means playing all of those other markings. So don't forget to practice all of those things as well. So if the etude starts piano, make sure you start piano because that's just as important as starting on a C if it starts on C, right? Okay. Number 3, make your best sound on every note. This sounds like a very silly kind of euphemism, but I really believe that if you try really hard to make a great sound on every single note, you have a better chance throughout the etude as you get tired of continuing to make a sound that's closer to something that you would be proud of. So I always try, as I'm playing, every time I get to a long note, here in one of the etudes, I make sure that even as I'm going down this triplet, I'm still keeping my contact with my sound, and even though I'm doing a diminuendo, I'm still trying to make the best sound that I can so that it sets up a beautiful long note. So every note I'm always trying to make sure, is that the best sound that I can make? And if it's not, then I try to correct it as quickly as I can with my embouchure. Number 4, don't rush. Rushing is probably the worst thing you can do in an audition. You might think that making a mistake is the worst thing you can do in an audition, but that's not true. Actually, everybody makes mistakes in auditions. I've made mistakes in plenty of auditions where I won or advanced. So I can tell you from personal experience that making a mistake in an audition is part of life. Rushing in an audition, however, shows that you're not the kind of player who plays well with other people because you're moving along quicker than how other people would play that. So imagine you're playing in a section with 8 other flute players. If one of those flute players is kind of randomly moving forward and everybody else is playing in rhythm, it's really hard to drag that one flute player back in. So then the band director or the conductor would have to stop and say, okay, flutes by themselves and fix that problem. A big thing that you want to show when you're auditioning is that you're a reliable player who's easy to work with and will fit right into the section. So if you make a good sound, you play in tune, and you don't rush, those are 3 really big things that you can do to show that you're just a reliable person who will never cause a problem in rehearsal. Number 5, have fun. I know that sounds a little crazy, but when you're performing an audition, you are performing an audition. So you have to make sure that you give a performance. You don't want to just walk in and just, look terrified and like this, some kind of, really scared version of each etude. You want to show who you are as a musician and a flute player, and maybe you're not 100% ready to play these etudes yet. Maybe they're too hard for you. Maybe you didn't learn one of the parts as well as you wish you had. That's okay. That's where you are on that day. and that's part of who you are as a flute player at this point in your life. So don't be scared to just go for it, have a good time, give a performance that you can be proud of, and leave it all out there when you play. I wish you all the best of luck with your all-state auditions. I hope you learned something from these videos, and I just want you all to remember that no matter what the results are, you all achieve something by working on these etudes and getting better at flute throughout the process. So there's never a lost audition because you always get better at playing your instrument.